All right. Test.
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 I said in 5. But boy, I said in 4. 4, let's go in 3. You're ready on 2 and.
And we are back here on Convincing Idiots. Now, you might look at us and think that surely these gentlemen are rich in many ways in life. I mean, they have their own podcast. They have a link tree. My goodness, they have their own domain on the World Wide Web.
Golden statues.
You are the golden statues of themselves.
Right.
Absolutely. Bobbleheads of the merchandise is aplenty. So certainly you must think to yourself, these gentlemen are rich, or at least you may think that if you are in fact a child. So today on this segment of Convincing Idiots, we are going to discuss wealth and riches and perhaps what things you thought when you were a younger lad or lass, what you thought you must be rich if you had some of these things or if you lived a certain way, and how do you look at that kind of stuff now? So this was a lovely little idea that was cracked by our own Xennial Dean. Dean, would you care to start us off? What are some things that you find to represent wealth or riches as a young Dean?
Well, Nicholas,
aside from with your little Kool-Aid mustaches, and you probably had a rat tail, and
I didn't have a rat tail. I did have the Kool-Aid mustache.
Mm-hmm.
I had it was the 80s. I had a big old bushy head of hair.
Yeah.
To me, when I was a kid, and even to now, like I have like a goal to get, there's an item that I get from when I was a kid. I looked at it. That's where you made it. That's where you become, an adult. That's when you become a wealthy adult.
Eating dinner that's on something that's not a tray table.
No, I will never stop doing that. Fuck that. I just have a gold tray table. My friend, my item would be a grandfather clock.
Okay.
To me, that is what on the hour it would chime and they would sway back and forth and.
Now, Dean, I don't know if you know this or not. We live in a place called Barberton, Ohio, one that is plentiful in antique stores and second-hand stores. I would imagine if that's all it took for you to feel wealthy, you could probably get yourself a grandfather clock for a reasonable value.
But I want the tall stand-up one. I don't want to mount on a shelf. It has to be the stand-up one.
No, yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're still not cheap.
Are they? I don't know.
No,
I've never.
We went on vacation a couple weeks ago. We went into a store that had just grandfather clocks, and they ranged from the lowest, $3,000.
Yeah, but was that a clock store? Was that like a?
It was. Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm saying you could.
Store.
I mean, I don't know. I could be sending you on a fruitless journey, but have you ever thought to like looking at like an antique store, just like a secondhand place to see like what I don't know what a used grandfather clock is. And the only reason I say that is because you don't see many people with grandfather clocks anymore.
Correct.
It's kind of a a lost desire for people, or it's of a certain time. So I wonder of how many people have either gotten rid of them, or people maybe that passed on that own grandfather clocks that, their family was just like, nobody wants this thing, and they put it in a store.
They buried them with them.
To just be. I wonder if that's something that's attainable. I would kind of think it might be relatively easy to find. I don't know.
Okay, well, then I shall look.
I will be on the hunt as well for you. I'll be like, I got this fucking thing for $20, so you owe me $20, and here's your grandfather clock.
All right. it was an action figure, you wouldn't see that money. Anyways, Brian, what about you? Was there something in your childhood that you saw that was the epitome of wealth? That was what made you, a wealthy adult.
Yeah, I mean, I got a few things we'll get around to, but one of the first thing I put down it was air conditioning. So if you as a kid, if you had air conditioning in your home, not just a window unit, but if you had like a central air, that was like, wow.
I still think that.
Yeah, you must have a lot of money to do that, because I never had, as a kid.
No.
We had a couple window units and
a big box
fans and stuff like that, and it was fine. I mean, you just didn't know what you didn't know until you until you went to a friend's house that had air. It's like, oh my god, this is like, holy shit!
You walk in, and as soon as you feel that air conditioning, you know you're gonna have to fucking take off your shoes.
Oh yeah. You get your dirty.
That's right.
Street urchin shoes off of my carpet. You probably have nice carpet.
Paw covers off.
Yeah, and that sort of goes with it. If you had like carpet, if you had like a new looking carpet, that was another thing while you're at it. You know what I'm saying?
Brian makes it sound like he had a dirt floor.
we had
the box fans would blow around the dust all crazy, and
I tell you, it was
like little Brian's beard.
Yeah, it was like straw. You know what I'm saying? No, but it was. I don't remember getting carpet until.
Where's little Brian? Over in the manger.
That's right. That's right. We had an area rug in one room. I think it was area rugs. That's what we had. We had the whatever tile floor or whatever, and we had area rugs, and that was what we had for years.
Can I pay for just a portion of carpet?
That's right.
I have this much. How many carpets can I get with this?
I would get like the carpet sample squares and like sleep on them and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, this is what the rich people do.
He only fell asleep because his belly was full of gruel.
That's right. That's right. No, but central air, slash new carpeting.
I don't mean to flaunt
two
my
for one there. Yeah,
crazy rich life in front of you, but no, we got central air. I think when I was like, I was maybe 10 or just under 10, but from that moment on, even like when renting an apartment in my adult life, I remember one time I went to go look at an apartment, really nice place, and
have air.
They were like, "There's a box." I was like, "Does it have central air?" And they were like, "Well, there's this box unit in the window here in the living room,
like,
and it's out." And the flow of the air, it really gets through. And the back area that there's not the air conditioning unit, it's all shade. It really doesn't get warm back there. I'm like, absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. I have not lived without central air since I was like 9 or 10 years old. I will never do it again. It's just insane to me. No.
Yeah.
So it's impossible to get your pinky down when drinking, right? Like
it's muscle memory. It pops up there. You know, when you're taught good table manners as a young gentleman, you shan't soon forget them. It just does it on its own.
Silver spoons come with table manners. That's what they say.
That's right. So you had central air. So what is one thing that you thought you have money to?
My thing, and it's funny because it's still might crack the list, but not in the way that I used to think of it. For me, when I went to somebody's house and they had a pool, right, I was like, wow, like you have a pool, and it's not like an inflatable,
or
right? So like above ground pool, like I was just like, man.
Did any of you know a kid with an in-ground pool?
I don't think
not a kid with an in-ground pool. I had like family members that had an in-ground pool.
I had a relative lived out in South Carolina.
Yeah. I would say to this day that probably if I go to someone's house and they have an in-ground pool, I'm like, you're doing all right for yourself, because that shit is not cheap.
Nope. Sure.
But now as an adult, you're like, oh well, like you can have an above ground pool, provided. I mean, it doesn't. It is still a bit of an investment, and there's certain maintenance and things like that. But as a kid, anything that was not an inflatable pool, I was like, wow, like you have a pool. Mm-hmm. Yep. Like holy shit, We are going to do a pool party next year, and I'm inviting you both, and this is real. We saw this online and people doing this. You bring your own kiddie pool, and you sit in the yard, and everybody just fucking gets drunk, sit in their own kiddie pool, bullshit with each other.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
Maybe do the projector screen, watch a movie.
Do Jaws.
That's what I was just going to say that and get all scared. Like maybe there's a giant great white shark in this tiny baby pool.
Yeah,
where I can clearly feel the bottom and all the edges.
Mm-hmm. Good idea. All right, so Dean, what's your next one?
All right, let me see here. I got a couple of them. One was another. Let me elaborate, but a fancy front door.
Yeah.
What is fancy?
Fancy. Well, it varies. Some have like the knocker on it.
Opens and closes.
It's not a ragged blanket across the shack.
It's not stringed up beads going into the back of a Quonset hut.
Made a cardboard and he drew a doorknob on it. You keep reaching for it and they can't get it. No, but like you see, like a big, heavy, fancy. Some had the knocker on it. Some had like the frosted glass panes on it. But just you knew a fancy door. Like our house was like a wooden one that banged. When you closed it, as the twisters coming down the alley.
That's the alarm. Tornado! Ding, ding, ding! Tornado!
That's right. I lived in Kansas, I guess. The 1920s. All right, Brian, what about you?
No, I agree with you. Yeah, I got a new front door like within the last couple of years.
What's it look like? Is it fancy?
Is it fancy?
I did pay a little extra for because you had to buy your own hardware.
Doorknob?
Yes. No, but I paid a little extra for a fancy...
You can have this magic marker that you can just draw your own, but...
And my daughter Peyton suggested paint it like a bright color. Don't just paint it. So I'm like, yes, I painted it yellow. So it's a nice new yellow door, and it definitely enhances the front of the house. That's for sure. It does create, I don't know, a little extra sense of pride to have a nice front door. So
did you not choose red because you thought you'd have the urge to paint it black?
No, I just like I like yellow. It's just calming, and I like the sun and all that stuff. So anyhow, all right. So I got another one for you. So if you had a refrigerator with like an ice maker and water in the door as a kid, it was like wow.
Absolutely.
That's still a goal of mine. I don't have one of those. I want that.
Nope.
I want that.
Yeah, that's fancy.
Yeah.
We had to use the plastic trays that you to twist sideways to get them out, and they'd crack down the center after a while.
Yep, that was another level.
Yep.
Another level.
One of mine, when I was growing up, I remember going to someone's house and they had surround sound.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, and I was like, fuck, man, this is like, because that is definitely a luxury expense. You don't need surround sound. You can simply turn the TV louder. But to have surround sound and to pay the money for the experience of sound here sometimes, I was just like, wow, like, you've gone the extra extent to try to create the movie theater experience in your home.
He just sitting in that big comfy leather couch, little Nick nipples just vibrating because the sound's coming from the back and from the side, and it was an experience.
Remember the first time I watched Return of the Jedi and I heard them dang speeder bikes going on the left of me and the right of me and they was behind me and in front of me?
Pink. Mom, am I supposed to be milked after this because they're so pointy?
That's a good
Stop lactating on the leather couch. It's not even ours. No, but that actually, Return of the Jedi was the first movie I ever saw in surround sound at someone's house. So that was a cool experience.
It's a good one. Dean?
Okay, like Nick, this isn't something, it wasn't like super expensive to do. But to me, it always looked adult-like. Maybe not as fancy or rich, but very adult-like. When you had the trash can hidden under in a cupboard in a cabinet, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Where's the trash can? Oh, it's in that fucking closet over there.
What? Wow.
Like, why do you have a door in your trash can? That to me that's what grandparents or older, wealthier people had, was they had doors and hide in their trash can.
You don't have it out in public. That's crazy. Yeah,
right.
Yep. Show your garbage to people. When you think about it is kind of a weird thing to have a trash can out, because it's not like but to where you put your waste, that you would have it out on display rather than tucked away. It would make more sense to have it away somewhere.
Sure. Someday I will get to be that fancy.
That's a good one.
What are you going to live tucked away in a cupboard, or what? How's that going to work?
Oh, you mean garbage? I meant garbage, Nick. Oh, wait a minute.
I mean, I said what I said, and I stand by what I said. So moving on.
How about another one for me was if you had more than one bathroom in the house.
Yep.
Sure.
Not just
anybody can piss in the sink, but
right. Just two full. If you had two full bathrooms, that was like. These people have. This family has a little bit of money. That was even a half bath for that matter was just like, yeah.
Turds would fall off the side of the toilet. Half bath.
I still have not achieved that in my life either, to have more than one full bath. And not that I need it now, I guess, with just living here pretty much on my own, but it just it's something I've never had.
You can piss in the sink.
Sure.
If you need to.
Yeah. No one even knows.
Like as boys, like somebody's using the restroom, like Carter would go out and piss on the tree in the backyard.
Sure.
Because
when the toilet is available, or
sometimes
I'm gonna go rock a pisser out on the tree right there. It's it's nice
very
day
freeing.
Mark your territory.
Saw a cat sniffing around earlier. I just wanted to know that I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
Now he pisses on the cat. That's mine.
One of the things that I used to think, and I mean, as a kid, but also really until pretty recently, I'd say up until about an hour ago, really, I used to think that people who went to the ballet were people that had money and were rich in high society. But I found out at the beginning of the show that is not the case. So
no, I mean, I'm not rich, but I'm not. Yeah, well.
So can I give you my most white trash answer for what I thought was like? So as a child, and obviously I'm the youngest, so as all of us were children, this was before the craze of what a man cave would be, or a guy's area of the house to have his things or decorate the way all the guys or whatever he wanted. I had been sometimes to people's houses or friends of my dad, or even but they had not just a man cave, but when a man cave featured a bar sign, a neon bar sign, sure. I used to think they must know somebody, because only businesses get those. You know what I mean?
You're
only
right.
Certain restaurants or bars get those. You can't just buy them. I mean, now of course, the internet, you can buy anything. But I used to think when I would go to, one of my dad's friends' house, we'd go or watch football or whatever, and a couple of them would have neon bar signs, and I'd be like, man, that's fucking cool. Because
this guy,
they have a neon bush light sign. They must be rich. Yeah,
I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My parents had friends and this guy had in his basement just a full-blown, the whole down bar. He had a pinball machine. He had a jukebox. He had the full bar.
Was he single?
No. He was married.
Wow.
He had lights. He had a slot machine, working slot machine. He had an old cash register, authentic beer lights, Nick.
Wow.
And all the paraphernalia. And then in another room, then he had one of those bowling games. You had the disc when you slide it. And the pins would
flip up. Yeah.
Yeah. He had one of those. Pool table, fireplace.
So this guy was rich.
So yeah, he clearly had some money. I just thought that was kids.
No, I mean
that was the coolest shit I ever saw. That was that's
a lot of items not to have at least some money.
Oh yeah, and he had he had a son, and then she had a so they kind of had a blended family and stuff. So my parents would be like, yeah, we're gonna go over and hang out at this couple's house, and I was always like, absolutely. Absolutely, going to hang with their hang out with the boys that were my age, and go down in that basement and hang out in that bar. That was just the greatest.
Yeah.
No, They were nice kids.
Oh, okay.
They were nice kids. So, anyway, so yeah, but you're right. Just seeing that beer light initially, I was like, well, what is this? What's going on?
Yeah.
Because at the bottom of the stairs, Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, my Labatt Blue light that I have over by me here that was given to us, given to my dad by a friend that he used to be on a bowling league with or whatever, and that eventually got passed down to me. So it's still, it's I've had it I had it in my room when I was a teenager, and then it's traveled with me to every apartment and place I've ever lived and stuff. But it's.
I have an old milk crate that does that.
There you go.
Bring it with you everywhere.
Do you have any more?
Part of my life. I do, and mine's going to be very, very Barberton-esque.
Mm-hmm.
To me, as a kid, if you had money, you had something going on. If you owned a starter jacket,
yeah, sure.
Why is that Barberton?
To me, it seemed like a Barberton thing that maybe.
I think for the time that was
all the youths.
That's really that was the the way. I don't know. I mean, it was a status symbol or the thing that was the hot thing that you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted a pair of certain shoes or whatever, or now if you want to wear a certain brand,
there's another thing
like the North Face, or if you want to wear something's a status symbol, or just the fact if you absolutely have to have Apple AirPods instead of just something like that. I think the starter jackets were. You could have a coat. You could have something that was like a coat.
Did you have
windbreaker? Whatever. I did. I had a Cowboys starter jacket. Yep, the pullover.
Wow.
Yep.
Look at fancy pants, man. Air conditioning, and a goddamn starter jacket.
I was an only child, so I was a little pampered. Yes, but yeah.
I didn't have my first pair of name brand shoes until high school, and I bought them myself with my first job.
Yeah. What were they? What kind of shoes did you get?
Actually, you would appreciate this. They were Nike hockey brand shoes. Like they kind of like they
Nike
were
hockey brand.
Like it had hockey. It was Nike hockey, and the tops kind of had like a harder black shell on them.
Really?
I've never seen them since or anything like that. But it was a Nike hockey sneaker.
Are you sure you didn't just go to a Salvation Army that you bought a pair of skates that didn't have the blades attached to them anymore? Nike hockey shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I've never heard of that before. That's pretty cool.
There's a good one. Clothes, basically. Yeah. Name brand clothes and sneakers.
Name brand clothes.
I agree with you. A whole other level for me was if you had a camper, and especially if you had a camper on a campsite. So if the parents they're renting out a campsite and they had the camper parked in the site with the whole community, we're going out to the campgrounds and all that. I had one of my buddies his parents did that for years. That was a whole other level.
Yeah,
we had a camper at one time. It was like a fixer-upper. It was one of like a project my dad would work on it and stuff. But yeah, and we went out. There was a local campground that we went out to.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did it like 2 years or something like that. Didn't stay too long, but no, it was fine. It was fun. But again, you go there and you see these people that like live that lifestyle. Like this was like a fixer-upper, and it made do, and it was fine for what it was. But like some of these people are like, not only did they have like these badass campers, but like they had like a life around it. Like they made a yard and like they were planted in that spot.
Built a deck, like you said, the yard, the landscaping.
Yep.
All that's, you're right. That's a whole other thing. To me, it's been a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
To go, you're basically maintaining 2 yards, if you will, with home and this thing, but I don't know. Okay.
It's the middle it's the middle grade version of my summer home or my weekend home.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, a second property or a second place to go that's yours. Yeah.
I'll winter down in Florida.
Well, it's getting a little. I mean, so just for sake of time here, guys. So obviously, as kids, it was stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had stuff, you had something in a home, you had clothes, you had, whatever.
A bicycle you didn't have to build yourself.
Sure.
What? I built my own bicycle.
You did?
Right.
I did.
Nice. Proud of you, champ. Good job.
Thanks. Thanks.
I've been waiting for 35 years for someone to say those words to me.
It was such a beautiful. I've been so proud.
Yep. Dad was like, just give me the cigar on the back of the hand again.
Yeah.
Yep. No, but he
put something into it. He put a stick into the spoke.
There you go. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So has your perspective on wealth changed as you've grown up? Meaning, just what does it mean to be rich to you now as an adult? Is it stuff? Is it other things? What is it that you feel, at least? What makes one rich, I guess, maybe is a good question as you've grown up a little bit. Nick,
I'd say
don't
it's
give me
still
that bullshit about family.
No, I wasn't going to. I'd say it's still stuff. It's just different stuff, more expensive stuff, but stuff that brings quality to your life. Stuff like things that you can get a lot of use out of, things that will help you and help your wallet in the long run. Stuff like electric bicycles, for example, something that might help you save on gas, something that is certainly an investment, but an investment in your emotional well-being. I would, if you were looking to be wealthy in today's day and age, I would give our friends at RPM Bike Shop a call. Okay,
sure.
You could also get a hold of them by finding their Facebook page. All you have to do is search RPM Bike Shop, and there you're going to see their wonderful products, all of the different ways in which they can make you feel wealthy with one of their fantastic electric bikes today. You can also give them a call at 330-808-7792. They are located conveniently not too far from here in Carrollton, Ohio. You can also go to their website. That's rpmbikeshop.com. And just go check them out. Tell them that Convincing Idiots told you that if you buy one of their electric bikes, it will be a status symbol. It will make them feel wealthy, and they'll look incredible, and they'll feel great. So go see our friends at RPM Bike Shop today. Don't waste another moment being poor. Go get an RPM bike today.
All right.
I got just a couple more real quick. One, it's very small, but like, I don't know about you, Brian. I mean, I'm not even going to talk to Nick because I know he's, just loaded and rolling. He was like Scrooge McDuck, just jumping into shit. But, you're sitting there in class and like you have your number 2 pencil. You look over the rich kid and he has like the mechanical pencil. All right.
Oh, this is more stuff as a kid. Yeah.
With the different colored grips.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or the different inks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Gel pens were a big deal for a minute there too. All different colors. Yeah.
Or like you look at your dad and he's pulling a PBR out of a broken fridge, and other people have like fucking these fancy ass liquor cabinets and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's wealth. That's a sign of status. Strong status.
Yeah, if I could get one of those today, I'd feel wealthy.
You'd be wealthy, but
that's
not for a lot of money.
Well, you can appear more wealthy, but you don't necessarily need to spend a lot of money on something like that, guys. So if you go check out our sponsor, that's right. Check out our sponsor, Bellmark, BELLEMARK, Bellmark Amazon store. You can get said floating liquor cabinet, which I have one in my home. Very reasonable, looks terrific, and it's a nice addition to the room. You're going to store a few bottles in there and glasses. You can flip down the shelf and actually make a drink right on the liquor cabinet. Save some space while you're at it. They also specialize in. That's right. They also specialize in floating nightstands and countertop compost boxes. Put your compost in 2 sizes, all delivered safely and efficiently and cheaply right through the Amazon delivery service. Go check them out. Bellmark Amazon store.
Remember, only poor people have legs on their nightstands.
That's right. Feel rich inexpensively. How about that?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. All right. Anything else as a kid? Then you have anything else as a kid you want to mention, Dean, before we get into some of the?
No, I named everything, but I do want to mention my list: grandfather clock, central air, swimming pool, fancy front door, starter jacket, trash can under the sink, mechanical pencils. I'm 41 years old now, and I don't own any of those fucking things.
Yeah, it is funny. So, I don't have a lot of stuff on my list either. I mean, I do have central air in here. I had an ice maker in the fridge.
That's only because you gotta keep that dog alive.
That's right. I didn't want to run the water line into the fridge across the room. Swing pool, no way. I didn't mention this, but a really nice driveway and garage. If you had a 2-car garage that was like pristine, right. People have that. You could eat off the floor in a garage. I don't have that. Never had it.
Nick, didn't you guys have one where the garage had like the elevator to pull your Bentley up to the top floor?
It's more of like, it was like a vending machine. You would select the car, the automobile that you would like to drive that day, and that one will be lowered down on the rack.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, like a vending machine sort.
Yes.
I had the separate family or game room. I've kind of mentioned that already with my dad's friend, like a finished basement campsite. I mentioned. And if you had a really nice computer at the time, that was a whole other status level as well. Don't have any of those really. None.
Nope.
Yep. So okay. Well, has your perspective changed?
At least we're rich in listeners and viewers. Never mind.
Sure. So, do you still think it's stuff? Really? Is it stuff? Is it a combination of stuff and other things?
Fuck other things. I want money.
There you go.
I would say, obviously all the, things that were, that make you feel good in life. And that as you get older, you gain perspective that like, it's not really, stuff can bring you happiness. I definitely have stuff that does bring me happiness. But it doesn't make me feel full in the way that relationships do, or my children and my wife and all that stuff. So it is definitely a different thing. You get older, you mature, and you kind of view things differently. But I wouldn't say that I guess it's the twist on it is having things can make you feel good, but also like I find that more things that I have that like I can either share with my kids or that like everybody can enjoy or things like that. It's kind of like you almost look for different things.
Share bourbon with my son. So,
well, for example, like, and I don't have a pool, but like I used to look at a pool because I was like, you must have money to have a pool because of the luxury of being able to go to your own pool. Now with a family, I would go, it would be nice to have a pool to give my family a pool so that they, it's the thing that everyone can enjoy in that way. But honestly, I think the key to any of that, I think we, as kids and as younger people, we look to having things or having wealth as a certain form of happiness because you won't worry anymore. You'll have all these things. You can afford anything you want. It'll be wonderful. But truly the moral of the story here, I think, is if you can find your happiness in anything or whatever you have, that is really the wealth in it, is being able to be happy with what you have and be able to enjoy, who you have in your life and what you have in your life and stuff like that. So I guess it's kind of a different, it's not wealth in the way that we used to imagine it. Certainly, everybody would like to make tons of money and, be able to, but like, yeah, definitely, like, I would rather spend money on, instead of like having a mansion with a bunch of bells and whistles and things like that, I would like to have money to live in a small place. It's very nice, that has everything we need. And then maybe like you spend your money, experiencing things, like seeing parts of the world that doing things you want to do. That's kind of a different way that I think I look at things now.
I just want to follow up on Nick's comment there. A lot of things he said was right, but I simply just want to stop having to fight the raccoon in the backyard for the food.
But that's a relationship that you've built, that you must put stock into. That the raccoon
but he keeps
coming
winning.
back.
I haven't eaten in days, Nick.
Well,
he's much faster.
He's trying to make you better. He's trying to teach you a lesson.
Oh.
He's trying to get you to work harder. And this is a learning moment. This is a valuable thing in your life that you can look at this as a form of wealth. This raccoon has chosen you.
Mm-hmm.
He has chosen you. He could have tried to make any dumb human better, but he's chosen this dumb human to try to make better. And this raccoon has chosen you. I think you are very wealthy to have this raccoon in your life.
So what you're saying is I have to eat the raccoon. Okay. All right. Brian, any closing thoughts on the subject?
Do you have a way that I can beat this raccoon? Your thoughts on the raccoon issue?
No, it's just, I mean, as a kid, I had it. I guess I just, you're a unconditional love with your family and friend. That's, to me, that's
lame.
No, it's just, I had that at home with my parents. I always appreciated that. You know, I guess I didn't know how much I appreciated it till I got a little bit older.
Yeah.
And then when I had I'm sure you guys experienced the same thing. When I had my own daughter, I didn't really realize how much I could love another being on the earth more than my child. You know, it really taught me.
I got a number of this hooker that you should call.
Yeah, maybe I need to. No, but it's just, you know, just it changes your perspective on a lot of things. So just to be able to experience that type of love for another being in the world is priceless.
Yeah.
Right. So
my parents used to beat me with a belt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I had my own son, they gave him that belt. Now Carter beats me with that belt.
Yeah.
I can't win to lose.
So this is another learning moment. You need to be grateful for the people in your life that are taking the time out of their days to show you attention and beat you with that belt. No, okay. I was going to say, Brian, to further what you were saying, like, I find now, like, as a parent, I'll randomly, like, sometimes I'll just, like, say something to my mom or dad and be like, hey, by the way, like, thanks for, like, I didn't really realize, like, how much you guys did for me until, like, I was a parent. And then I'm like, all the stuff that, you know, all the things that you spend time on and doing and involved with and stuff like that, you're like, you take that shit for granted as a kid. You're like, my parents just do it. They do what parents do. And when you become a parent, you're like, hey, like, thanks for all that shit. Like, that's really cool. I never really realized, like, what that took for, you know, you guys to do this or do that, or how much this cost, or these trips or things that we did. You know, I'm like, hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate that. You know. It's definitely a very cool thing to see the other side of it, and kind of gives you a whole new appreciation for your parents and what they were able to give to you and do for you.
I went up on my mom and I said, thank you that one time that you're beating me with the belt and it slipped out of your hands and it fell to the ground and you didn't pick it up to continue. Thank you.
That was nice of her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I thanked Dean's mom earlier, Nick, for making a nice helping of ham gravy.
I thought you were going to say for beating you with a belt, but it was a very different way that you did it.
He paid very well.
Yeah. No, but there's a saying
while
too.
He's eating ham gravy. That's
fingers. Right. That's right. You know, there's all lines of, you know, he who has friends is a rich man, just something along that line. So it's definitely something that, you know, I've learned to appreciate more as I've gotten older as well. So
that's why Brian makes me feel so rich.
There you go. So, yeah. Well, anyways, I appreciate you guys as well. I mean,
what have you spit in my mouth?
Yeah. See, that's it right there. See that?
That's love.
Yeah,
pure love, unadulterated love.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Anything else, guys, that you've appreciated? You think differently on wealth as you've gotten? We could probably talk about this for a lot longer, but go ahead.
No, I think it covers it for me. I was a poor kid. I'm a poor adult. People keep beating me with things. You know, fuck it.
You know, yeah. On that note, patreon.com/convincingidiots.
Great plug.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, before Dean throws himself off the inner belt, you know.
We'll go inside and dance.
Feel real sad for Dean. I feel real sad. I mean, I think about, like, some of the shitty things he's done and in ways that he's not great. But I'm like, well, man, that's just it makes me feel a little better, but it just makes me feel real sad for Dean.
Yeah.
Son, good day, sir.
I present this to you. Is your day better? Is your life better since you've seen Brian Cock?
I'm going to take this opportunity to tell you where you can find us on social media.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say our fans they've grown to appreciate the outro of our podcast.
Absolutely,
Nick,
yes.
I think with you.
And
so, yes.
never more have they wanted one than at this moment today.
That's right.
And proven how hoity-toity and extremely wealthy you have always been, Nicholas. Maybe you should do it in such a manner.
Oh, and Baron Nicholas?
Baron Nicholas. Come on, Baron.
All right, I say. Here we go. So, if any of you heathens out there have access to the World Wide Web, which I can't possibly imagine that you do, but if you were to stumble upon one in your local library, you may go to convincingidiots.wordpress.com. Now, if you can't spell it, well, you're fucked. I'm not going to help you. I've done enough already. So, by gracing you with my presence, telling you where we can be found on the internet, I have done enough here. Also, I'll throw you a bone, okay? Take this one. Little bonus tip. Go to Convincing Idiots Linktree. Just Google if you know what that is. Convincing Idiots Linktree. You might find it a little bit familiar with your idea of what a money tree might be like. Fools, they don't exist. You have to make your own wealth. They don't grow on trees. But if you were to find links on a tree, you could Google Convincing Idiots Linktree, Linkree, and you will find links to all of the social media accounts for only the finest content on the internet. So for this episode of Convincing Idiots, I am a wealthy millennial, Nicholas. Damien Schaefer III. I'm not the third.
I'm just the poor kid, Dean.
Shush, heathen! Baron Brian, tell them your name and title. Don't let this one speak again.
Thank you. Yep. Gen X Brian Esquire.
Have we convinced you to tune back in? Donate more of your funds so we can purchase more lengthy and thick belts to beat on this poor piece of riffraff that the interwebs brought in.
Not again.
Crush! Hey there, if you like that video, or if you just like to watch us make fools of ourselves, please like and subscribe to this channel. We really appreciate it. We hope to see you back here.